What's up, everybody? Welcome to System Crafters. I'm David Wilson, and once again, we just had last-minute stream setup issues. Today, Restream decided that it didn't want to actually stream to YouTube, so I started up 2 instances of the stream previously, and for whatever reason, it just wouldn't start streaming to YouTube, and the bitrate was extremely low. So today, we're going to stream only on YouTube, and everything seems to be fine. So I don't know what's going on with Restream. I don't know if they just want me to start paying for the service because I haven't had to pay for it up until now. Maybe I'll be looking for alternatives. Who knows? But anyway, we're back with day 2 of working on my Spring Lisp Game Jam 2024 entry. The game that I'm going for this time is it's kind of like a reverse dungeon crawler. Instead of you being the hero in the dungeon crawler, you're actually going to play the role of the creatures that are preventing the hero from accomplishing his goal, whatever his goal may be, which is if it's to, you know, pillage everything that's there or reach a certain area or something. I don't really know yet. We'll figure it out as we go. But the idea is that instead of you having to manually play the role of all the creatures in the dungeon, you're actually going to write a minimal subset of Scheme, something like Scheme as a language to control the behavior of these creatures. So it will be both a game and like a live code editor at the same time. So we'll see how far we get. I think we'll be able to get some of the idea implemented. Not today, obviously, but you know we're getting there. We'll be streaming out throughout the week, probably most of the days of next week. I don't exactly know how much time I'll have, but I think we'll get somewhere by the end. But let's see. We made some progress yesterday. I'll show you the progress in a little bit. I'm very happy with sort of how far we've gotten, and we'll keep going. Let me know if the volume level of the music is too loud. So hello to Valentino, Miguel, Michael, Dave, Glenneth, Thanos. I think Thanos was around earlier. And whomever else is around. I'm hoping the people who are on Twitch have jumped over to YouTube so that you can check out the stream, since we're going to only be here on YouTube today. It's too loud? All right, let me hit that. I'm having to drive this using Spotify, so I don't have any volume automation. So it's a bit harder to keep it in control, I think. All right. Okay, so yesterday what we did is get our basic project structure set up using the starter template that Dave Thompson put together. It's at the Sprightly Institute website. Is there a link here? No, I didn't have a link to the actual original template in the README. I need to actually change this README because now it's my project and not Dave's template project. Guile Hoot starter. No, that's mine. Guile Hoot Sprightly template. There it is right there. So I started with this template and basically just ripped out all the code that I didn't need and started adding my own code and pulling in some graphics for the game that I wanted to use. And by the end of the stream, we got to something like this, where we could actually have a map in the game with some basic art that I did not make. I took this from kenny.nl, but we've got this rendering. This is actually coming from the Scheme code compiled to WebAssembly. So this is our starting point today. The goal today is to try to get some characters up on the screen. So maybe a few little goblins in here and the hero character. Maybe we'll also have some objects on the screen as well. Thanks, Dave, for putting the link in. So, you know, pick up objects or something of that nature. We've got a couple little like candles here. I just threw that in when I was messing around yesterday. But that should be pretty fun. I think that won't be too hard to get this started. Also, one thing we did yesterday is use the TileEd editor to create a tile set from the original image file, as well as I wrote a custom exporter script for the map data to turn it directly into a Scheme file that can be imported into the project. So if you look at the assets/images/ where is it? Is extensions? No, is it assets levels extensions scm export.js? It's just a little JavaScript file that will take the map data from TileEd and then write it out as a Scheme file. And if you want to see what that looks like in the end, if we go to modules game level 1, it just writes out the module using the file name as the module name, and then calls this make level procedure that we've defined in the game level module, and then gives the information like the size of the level as well as the sort of the matrix of tiles at each of the XY positions on the map. So that basically takes care of everything, and then we have code to render the level, as you can see here. So not too bad. It was actually quite easy. Not easy, but it was easy enough that I felt like it wasn't a huge burden to set that all up. So today we'll need to expand this format a little bit to add placement of enemies. I may also need to think about, like, I don't really know how TileEd deals with collision information. Like if I want to make this box or what do you call it, collidable, I guess. I need to take a look at how to do that. Dave probably knows, because Dave mentioned something about this on his stream yesterday. Custom properties, so who knows? I could probably add a property, but is that for this tile? Properties, value? I don't know if it's for each tile individually. I'll have to look that up. Rectangular select. Just kind of scanning through here to see. Insert template, interesting. Terrain fill, flipping, random mode, shape fill, terrain brush. Okay. Dave says, I usually add a layer that contains collision info, but you can also set tile properties. I would prefer to set tile properties, but it would be nice if I could set them in the tile map file itself. I mean, it's right here. So I can do that. So like if I were to have this tile here, I might need to actually save out a tile map information as well. It will be interesting. So let's just look that up really quick. TileEd sheet export. Export as tile set file. So you can actually have a tile set file. And if I were to go the TMX file, if I export this, what formats does it have as options? TMX. Okay, so TSX, TMX. So there's a map file and a tile set file. So I could actually export that tile set as a scheme module. I actually have been working on a library for expressing tile sets off stream this morning. I'm going to pull that in just a second, but I could probably export the definition of that tile set so I don't have to even load it. I could just have it be automatically pulled in. I don't know how much time I want to spend on that, but it would be nice to have collision information baked in so that different tiles automatically have information attached to them and the game can use it. That way I don't have to do anything manual. I could go into the game and just sort of know what the tile ID is. Like let's say tile 637, I could just set properties myself, which might be faster. I could probably start with that and then do something else later if I wanted to. Usually in a game jam, the goal is to try to balance practicality with better design. Maybe there's better ways to design things, more reusable ways to design things, but in the game jam, you don't have a ton of time. So sometimes you have to just sort of hack things in a little bit and then go back to it later. So a lot of this work that we're doing on these game jam entries with Hoot, I could eventually turn some of this into libraries that are reusable and tools that are reusable. I know that a lot of people do that. They have their own sort of tool set they use for game jams. And eventually we'll do that. I would like for my games to eventually become better and better every jam. It's difficult. Actually, it was difficult last year with all the jams I was doing because I was using my own scheme implementation called Mesh. And I was mostly fighting with the bugs in the language runtime implementation. So I didn't get to make a huge amount of progress on any jam. But now, at least with Hoot being involved here, I can just depend on Hoot and not worry too much about having my own tools be completely buggy. Dave says the game jam template is all code extracted from Strigoform. Speaking of code reuse, so basically I'm just ripping off Dave's entry from the last game jam that did really well. Okay, so let me pull over the code that I did this morning, that I wrote this morning. I need to actually, did I push that yet? Yeah, I think I pushed it already. So let's pull that in. It's not fully working at the moment. What did I do here? Oh, cool. I like that it actually saves the export target. Let me, whoops, let me stash that for a second. And then I'll pull in what's an origin. And then now we have the new tile sheet abstraction. If we go take a look at that file, it's tilesheet.scm. Basically, it's just a record type that holds the information about the image that we loaded, the size of the tiles, and the number of tiles in the X and Y dimensions, and also a vector that stores mappings between tile index to the location in the tile sheet, so that it's a lot easier to look those up and not have to calculate them every frame. Yeah, I was sort of inspired by something that Dave said on his stream yesterday, where you know, all these calculations, you're basically creating new float objects every single frame, and that has to be GC'd. So you're putting a lot of pressure on the GC by doing a lot of these calculations. So I'm going to try to minimize that as much as possible by using pre-cache calculations for at least the things that don't change. So I've written a little library for that here, and I started trying to use it, and it didn't actually work how I expected it to. So now we're going to try to debug that. So let me just go ahead and recompile this, and we'll reload the page and see what I'm talking about. So Dave, where is PK? Where's peak defined? Because I didn't see it when I tried to call it this morning. I think I used that in the previous game jam, but I don't remember where I got it from. I need to go back here. Let's reload the page. And now you got a black screen because it's not actually doing something, and I've got an error somewhere. Hoot debug. Thanks, Dave. So I've printed out a bunch of stuff here. All that is right. I don't really need to keep that anymore. I'm doing something wrong somewhere else. So let me just comment these out for a second. And then take a look at the error that I've got. And the current main PK is present when using define module. Interesting. Okay. So let me check. Yeah, makes sense. All right, so failed type check predicate external, type check failed, irritant. So I'm passing a tile sheet somewhere that another type is expected, and it's external. I'm wondering if this is a procedure call that is supposed to be an external procedure. No convenient PK for me. Yeah, I'm using 0.4.1, unfortunately. Let me see. This works. Where did I put that? This works. There we are, right here. Okay, so I'm using match here to pull out the X and Y coordinates. Apparently, let's see. Draw image, context, tile sheet. Oh, that's what's happening. All right. So this needs to be tile sheet image. In fact, I should probably cache that so I'm not pulling this out of the vector every single time. So let me just do this sheet image or tile sheet. Yeah. All right. So we have tile sheet pulled in already. I need to go to the tile sheet file and export tile sheet image, because I think that's what it's called, tile sheet image. Okay. This should hopefully fix the problem. Wrong number of arguments to draw image. What did I do? 45. Oh, how did I delete that? Ah, I deleted it on purpose because I was trying to do a binding for that. Okay, here we go. Sheet image. Whoops. Let's just fix that really quick. There we go. Recompile. Okay. Now let's restart. Hey, it's drawing again. That's great. So let's get those prints out of here so that we don't overwhelm the output. All right, there we go. So I'll go redo that. Hello, G, thank you. Taking a while to recompile this time. Okay. Cool. Now we're good. So at least we see that there's no errors and we're loading up the tile data and it's drawing successfully. So now we can move on to try to add some game objects in. Let's just take a look here. First of all, we can add a new layer. There's tile layer 1 here. If I were to add a new layer, I guess this is an object layer is kind of different. I think it's not really a tile layer so much as it is like arbitrary object positions. I don't know exactly how that works. I didn't want to make a copy of the layer. So how do you, probably need to define objects. Oh, there we go, objects. This is like a scene graph. What is this? Dave says object layers can encode whatever, different shapes, things that aren't aligned to tiles. Yeah, I do want them to be aligned to tiles. So good for triggers, spawn points, etc. Well, I do kind of want that. So let me see, objects. Trying to right click. Okay, tiled, object layer. Tell me how to use object layers. Working with objects to place a tile object. To place, select the tile that you want to place in the tile sets view. Use the left mouse button on the map to start placing the object. Move to position it, and then release to finish placing the object. What does that mean? Oh, okay, that's a selection. Where is the select objects? Okay, here we go. Insert rectangle, insert point, polygon, insert tile. All right, so I can insert a tile somewhere. Apparently it doesn't have to be lined up. Yeah, it could be anywhere. So I want to undo those two. I want it to be lined up with the grid. Let's see, how do I do that? Edit, world, map, snap to grid. Is that, snapping. Snap to grid. Boom. All right, cool. Excellent. Thanks, Dave. All right, good. That's great. I don't want to have a whole layer just for placing objects in the world. So what can we say here? We got a lot of dudes. Let me get this little mean looking guy to be the hero. He's in the room. It's almost like a Doom level. You got the guy behind the door and he's ready to come out and wreak some havoc. And then what else we got? Let me drop some little goblin guys in here. And maybe there could be I don't know, like a mate. There's a farmer guy. That's cool. I don't know how visible these are. There we go. Maybe that's a little bit better. Ooh, there's spiders and stuff. I got some chunky arms. Also, we can drop some items around too. Whoa. I see a gem here. Put a gem in. And what else can we do? What other interesting stuff do we have? There's keys. Keys could be a component of this. So like a little gold key here. Maybe a gold key opens the door. So I wonder what the output of that will look like now. If I were to go over to the export script. Hey Judy, yeah, the Twitch stream did not happen because the restream service that I used did not actually want to cooperate today. So we had to stream only on YouTube. All right, so we have layer, map layer at 0. Now, I guess I need to make sure that I'm getting the right layer offsets. That's ID 1, that's ID 2. Okay, cool. I move that. Okay, cool. So it is actually depth ordered. Cool, 1 and 2. So now I have object layer 1. So if I am in the code, I can probably just pull that out. So we have map layer at 1. Yes, tiled. Bar objects equals map.layer at 1. And then we can loop through all those. Is that how it works though? Let's see. Tiled custom export. Custom export formats. Objects. Working with objects. I don't know, is that what I want? No. That's pretty cool though. You can do this kind of stuff in TileEd. I probably should have been using this a long time ago. Let's see, scripts, JavaScript, custom export formats. Here we are. Okay, scripting API. There was a list of JavaScript objects and functions. Oh, not that one. That one's terrible. See TileEd scripting API for reference of all available functionality. Exports. That's probably not right, is it? Layer. Object layer. Object. Layer. Group layer. What's a group layer? Layer that groups other layers. Okay, fine. What about tile layer? I don't think that's right. It's got to be monster closet. Yeah. Maybe we need that, huh? I got some interesting ideas for what you have to do for the monsters. Let me see here. Map object, object group. I wish they would just give me. Oh yeah, I guess I should be looking at map, right? Kind of an idiot. Map object, is that what I want? Pilot object, map object, okay. Layers, okay, layer at. Does it have to be this difficult to find things? Register map format. Map format, scripted map format. Oh, okay. So the right function takes a map as the parameter. Map format, get the corresponding format object to read and write files. No, that's not what I want. It has to be map object, I guess. Or unless this is like a oh, tile map. Okay, that's my fault. Layer at. Okay, here we go. Object, remove objects, selected objects. So the contents are defined by the layers that are added to it, which could also include only image and object layers. Layer at, there's layer at. Turns a reference to the top level layer at the given index. When the layer gets removed from the map, the reference changes to a standalone copy of the layer. Okay, there we go. So an object group is a type of layer that can contain objects. It will be henceforth referred to as a layer. Great. So add objects, object at. How do I get the number of objects? Properties, objects, object count. Is that an array? Ah, that's what I need. Okay, so we have that. Objects. So if I have that, then I can just use normal for each. If the syntax works. What do you want to say here? Yeah, fine. Okay. So what I want to write out for objects. Let's go back and look at our level 1 file. whoops, level 1. So probably what I want to do here is make this a list, because I want this to, I want there to be multiple parameters to this now. Like, I don't want it just to be rest args. So first of all, we'll have a list of all the tile data. So there will be tile data as that. And if I pull this over on the side, I can go to level.scm, make level is the procedure I need. Tiles will now be a list directly, and then objects will be another list. So make level with height data. It's no longer data, it's tiles now. And then objects. Level objects. I don't really want this to be... I guess it could be the place where the objects get stored, but... it could be fine. Okay. Or instead of objects, maybe we'll call it entities. Because there can be different types of entities. Actually, I should just use the good old find and replace. Objects, entities. Okay. So tiles and entities. All right. Draw a level. I suppose even draw a level could take care of drawing the entities after it's finished. Entities will all probably need some kind of a base type, let's say, so like game entity. So we could, you know, start that right now. So modules, game entity.scm, my module. I want to change the module path name as well. Entity. And use module scheme base. Also, we'll need to export make entity, because we're going to create that right now. Find record type entity, make entity. Do I want to do it this way? Maybe I want to have it be private and make a public constructor procedure on top. So let me think about how I want to go about this. So all that we will have, if I can learn how to speak, is the object. If I can select an object, let me select this one right here. So this ID 5, ID 6, does it tell me the tile information about this thing? It has the X and Y position, the width and height, but it doesn't tell me what the original tile is. Interesting. Let's see. Let me check that. So we have an object group. We have objects. Map object. Is there like a tile object? There might be tile objects. So there's map object. Tile. Tile. Tile of the object. Okay. So we could get that information off of the object, object.tile, let's say. And that's the tile object type. And then there's ID. So we need that information. So it doesn't show us that here, but that's okay. All right, so we need... Let's see. We don't need an image path. We just need the tile ID. So tile ID. I don't think I want the record type to contain all the properties for the object, because I want the scripting language for the objects to be capable of simply or easily, let's say, accessing information. Of course, that might not matter in the end. we kind of need to have a top level entity, because you can't do record inheritance in Scheme. So if you want to have kind of like a common concept of an entity and then specific properties and behavior, you need to kind of combine multiple objects together, which is not so bad, but it is something that you'll have to deal with. In fact, if I think about this, Boot Records supports parent types. Wow. I'll have to look at the docs for that one. Let me think about this for a second. Maybe I'm thinking about this all wrong. So, sure, it's possible that I could, hard code the locations of all these entities, but that would not be fun because you're playing the same game over and over again. I would like there to be some amount of randomness to this. Since it's going to be a very simple game and there needs to be some, variety to it. So there's almost needs to be, and this is not going to be the only map in the game, or maybe there'll be a much larger map that you have to scroll in between. Oh, that'd be really cool, Dave, if we get better record types in general. So it's almost like we need to be able to mark regions where certain types of entities can spawn. So maybe the player can only spawn in this area, or maybe, in one of these rooms or something, and then the rest of the entities can spawn practically anywhere else. I don't think I'll have random map generation because that's a little bit hard to implement correctly. In a future game, I would like to implement something for that, though, because there's lots of different algorithms you can use, but I don't think we'll have time for that. So just having a simpler pre-made map is probably good enough for now. And also it makes it easier to tighten the mechanics whenever we actually have game mechanics. So yeah, let me see. I can draw rectangles, I think. Cool, so I can select something. And I can say what type it is. Mob spawn. Okay. So I've got this rectangle here now. That's cool. Wait, don't do that. And if I click that, I can select this and move it around. That's pretty awesome. Now, can I have overlapping rectangles? Yeah, I guess I can. And if I do that, can I actually cycle through them? What templates do we have here? Doesn't say. Objects. Okay, so we got two different ones. We have types. All right, cool. So we can see them at least. Good. They have names. Okay. So we could have overlapping rectangles. Let's see. So what would the logic be? If I had multiple rectangles that were all tagged mob spawn, I would have to grab those and classify them so that I can use them. Like when I say I want to spawn some number of entities in the game, characters, let's say, then I'll need to know where I can spawn them in. I'll need to know the constraints of the area. I'll have to pick one, basically. So if I know I have 3 different spawn zones for an object, I'll have to randomly pick one of those and then pick a location inside the spawn zone. That's probably better. And then as far as all the objects and stuff, I mean, in theory, they could be spawned anywhere. But maybe there's also restrictions on that as well. Can you make polygons? Can I do this? Oh, nice. That's going to be a lot harder to write code for, though, so I don't think I would actually do that. Just rectangles is better. Okay, so let's just not do that. All right. So if we have a rectangle, let me check the API for that stuff then. Let's see, map object, rectangle. So that is, what is that? There's lists of related types, I guess. static read-only rectangle. So there's a static read-only rectangle. Map object at rectangle. I guess that's like a constructor for a rectangle. Where is the rectangle type then? Yeah. Can you tell me what a rectangle is? Huh. Okay. I wonder if a rectangle is a series of points. Doesn't really tell you though. Properties, property. Let me check the actual tile ed. I didn't expect this to be such a pain. X, Y, width, height. I mean, maybe that's enough. It's going based on pixel position and not on tile position, which is not so nice, but that's okay. We can deal with that. All right, so rolling back to think about this again. We do want to have a tile ID for an entity. So let me check what Dave told me about. I want to go to the Sprightly Guile Hoot repo. Oh, there it is. And then go to doc. It'd be better if I just pull this locally, probably. In fact, do I have Hoot here already? I do. Let me just pull the stuff down. What did I do here? I don't know what that was. Okay, I think that's up to date. So let's open up the texie file and then the record docs. Hoot records. Okay, additional features such as inheritance and opaque types. So there's a parent keyword argument, extensible T. What's extensible mean? I guess if it can have subtypes. Opaque, extensible, printer. You can do a custom printer. That might be nice, actually. And then the normal field details. All right, so we can have multiple entity types. So I could have something like define record type hero parent entity. I'm guessing that's how that works. Yep, name. Allow duplicate field names. All right, cool. Don't really need to do anything with that yet. Let's just... How does the constructor work in this case? Do you have to redo the constructor? Dave hopes it works. You'll see. I might, backpedal on this real fast. I want to make some progress, so I don't want to rat hole on it too much. Okay, so tile ID, we need that. We need the X and Y position. And that's going to be in terms of the tiles. State. And let's start with that. That might be good enough. So if we say make entity, I mean, maybe I could just have this be... Maybe I don't need to have a special constructor for that. Forgetting to do this to entity question mark. And then tile ID, entity, tile ID. And X is entity X. Y is entity Y. State is entity state. These are all accessors for the fields. All right, so that's good enough for the basics. I probably want to have a set entity state as well. Yeah, we'll need these two. Set entity x. We don't need to set the tile ID though. So let's do these. Entity tile ID, set entity. I got this backwards. That's real fun. That would have been really confusing somewhere down the line. What? Okay. And then the state setters, I could probably just do this to clean it up a little bit. All right, so entity state, set entity state. All right, that's good. We could try to build this code, but first we need to go and add it to the make file. All right, and then we can jump back down here to compilation buffer and just compile it. I think, oh yeah, I've broken the make level file now. Let me think about this for a second. I need to think about how to we also need doors. We need to have information about doors in the world. So a door might be an object that is, yeah, there may be some objects that do need to be specified because they have a fixed location in the world. However, one thing I did in my last kind of dungeon crawler game is I had it so that doors, the position of doors would change every time you, every time the game reset, which that was like a different game concept, but we might do that here too. Like maybe sometimes there's doors and sometimes they're locked, sometimes they're not. And it really just depends on how everything starts up. So that gives some more variance to how it goes. But you could end up with a state where the game is unplayable, but maybe it's just, I don't know. We'll have to think about that. All right, so maybe I should take these objects out. I should keep track of which tiles these are, though, because these are kind of nice tiles. So that was the little guy with his arms hanging out. This one, what tile is that? 123. Let me just write these down. What else? It was the wizard looking dude. There. Oh, it's right next to it. So it's 122. Okay. And then the Doom guy is 31. All right. So now let's backpedal a little bit. We're going to delete these objects out of here. Even this one. Maybe we should take the objects we found for the treasure. Got this diamond here. That's number 219. Oops. And then we have the gem. There's a coin too, and some stack of money. Nice. Coins is 237. There's some rings, all kinds of stuff in here. You can make a pretty good game with all these, I think. These little animated guys here too would be pretty interesting to use, but we may not get to that. Skull. There's one of the gems. That is 522. And then the yellow key was... Come on, where are you? There it is right there. That is 571. Okay. That's enough for now. I can go delete those back out. So the reason why I'm getting rid of these is because I want to start using rectangles like this for spawn locations. So trying to decide whether I want to make it specific, like for instance, okay. So basically what I'm saying is should these be spawn locations for anything and not just a specific type of object? And while I'm looking at this, let me go and change this tile layer here. I just want to get rid of the couple things I have there. Yeah, so I'm guessing like anything could be anywhere. Let's just start with that. All rectangles could be spawn locations for anything. You know, honestly, I'm thinking about this all wrong. I don't really even need the rectangles because if I just say like any floor location is a valid spot, I could, when I load the map data in, I could check for any tile that is a 0. And that becomes a valid spawn location. If I just keep a vector of all those locations, then I can just randomly pick an index and just throw it somewhere. But that's a lot less specific than possibly having spawn rectangles that could have only some certain types of objects. But maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe it's fine just to have it be anywhere. What do you think? Any thoughts? We could do rectangles later if we wanted to, but I think we'll end up getting so far in that maybe it won't be worthwhile. So maybe if we can just do a simpler thing to start with, then we don't need to do the complicated thing ever. All right. Also, doors. I wonder if I should have a special icon for doors so that nobody spawns in a doorway, and then doors can either be a door or not a door. And that can be decided by the game whenever the initial level state is randomized. I would like for this to actually be bigger. Like if we could have a much bigger level and it could scroll. It would be easy to scroll. The problem is more that keeping track of what all the players are doing. But maybe what happens is that it is turn-based after all. I mean, I was thinking that everything could be moving at the same time, but it's going to be hard to watch all the things happening at the same time and react to it by editing the code. So we may have to think about that whenever the time comes, but for now at least. All right, let me stop waffling and just get something written. Okay, so level. I will go ahead and make this change because I think it's good to leave my options open. So a level should be written out. Let me do this too, because I want to make sure that that works. Let's go back to my SCM export.js. And when I export a row, let me actually start. So if I do this, I just need to make it easy to write back out. And then new line and space, space. I think we need to have 1, 2, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces now at the beginning. So that was 2 before. Make that 3. Okay. And then we also need an additional in parenthesis. Okay. So now I should be able to go and export this. If I were to just run export, I think it will export it back to the same file. Levels, level 1, no such file or directory. No, that exists. Ah. Oh, right. Okay. That's my mistake. So if I go back to this, I need to pop my stash. No, damn it. Okay, the stash is kind of defunct at the moment. That's fine. Let me just do it manually. Export as game level 1. Save. Yes. Then let's go look at that file. Seems okay. 1 extra space. I don't care too much about that. That doesn't matter. And now we need to make sure that it can still rebuild. So let's try to build it. I need to go back and change, make level again. Where it is, right here. I gotta close out some of these buffers. Okay, so. So no entities right now. And maybe did I put that in record type? Okay. We can leave entities in for now. All right, we've got a little bit of a problem here. There's a vector. Vector ref is looking for a vector. What did I do? Let me double check what code I changed. Go ahead and interesting. Okay, whatever. List to vector tiles. Yeah, it should be a list. It's fine now. But vector ref is the problem. So there's a vector ref somewhere. There's a chance it could be related to that. Yeah, Alejandro. We won't put entity in yet. All right. Vector ref. We only have 3. Level data level. And the tile sheet index to chords. So there's 2 of them. Level tile at. Do we ever call that level tile at? I don't think so. No. So it must be this one. Right here. Level data doesn't have a vector in it anymore. If I go back to level.scm, list to vector tiles. Well, that should be right. Make level width height tiles. Oh, okay. Let's just change this to tiles. I think that's what happened. It didn't actually get passed along anymore from the constructor function. Then level. Should be enough, right? Modules. Yes, we are coding with modules. I feel like I'm missing something, but we'll compile and see what it says. Maybe not. Okay, we're back. So that's good. We're back to having the level rendering. And the goal now is to store some information from the map. What we're going to do is when we load the map data in, the level data, we're going to do a little bit of post-processing. So the level can have you can call it spawns. For now, it can just be a vector of positions, like const pairs. So we call make level. List to vector. So we know the width and the height. We can pre-create the vector. We don't know how many spawn tiles there will be though, but we can create a list and then turn that into a vector later. Feels a little inefficient, but that's okay because we're just creating the level on the fly and it happens once. So a little bit of slowness is not really a big problem. So let's do this. Let loop. It's certainly easier calling list to vector, but let's just do it this way. All right, so tiles make vector width times height. And then spawns is just a list, empty list. What's your problem? Okay. Let's do it this way. All right. When we loop, we're going to, hey, Peter, you didn't miss it. We were only about an hour in. Let's see. We should use a match. I'm trying to use match more. Match tiles. And that's going to be not tiles. Oh, wait. Tile data. Let's just call it tile data. Also, we need another one here. No. Kind of lame. We'll clean it up. All right, so if we destructure tile data to be tile and then the remaining tile data, all right, let's just call it remaining. Or rest. I don't know. Then we can loop. Otherwise, what's the final condition of a match? Is it arrow or else? I don't know. We'll see. Do we need to return anything, or are we just gonna... We need to store the information. Actually, no, we're gonna call make level and have that be returned. Okay, make level with height tiles spawns. So spawns and entities. And that's good. And then we'll go ahead and delete that part. And the loop is going to be up here, so we'll get rid of that part. So loop is going to be rest. Sorry, no. Tiles rest. We want to add something to spawns as well. So if tile is just an integer. If tile is 0, then we're gonna const tile. No, crap. I need to be a little bit smarter about this now. I need to actually take in the the width and height into perspective whenever I'm doing this, because I need to store the X and Y position. So I need to have an X and Y here too. Yikes. Okay, is there a way to make this more efficient? Or actually, let's not do that. Let's do an I instead, because we can extrapolate the position based on the index. So we have tiles. Okay, if tile is 0, const. I need to come up with the X and Y position here. So this is similar to what I did in the tile sheet. So basically like that. And height, and I don't need the tile size because that doesn't matter anymore. We're doing tile positions. That's probably good enough. Okay, there we go. If tile is 0, we're gonna const. Oh, we need to do a double const here. So we're consting a const because we're sort of, constructing an A list here. Oops. Do that. Constant const onto spawns. That's fine. And then at the end, we actually need to say list to vector spawns, because we want that to be quickly accessible. All right. So we're matching tile data. We're just structuring that to the tile and then the rest of the tiles. And then we're gonna loop over tiles. We need to actually update tiles here before we do the loop. So vector set tiles I, cool, we got that. We also need to go here and increment I as well. So plus I1. Vector set tiles I. And we just need the tile. So we're just setting the tile in the vector for that index. All right. And we're looping. Okay, so we're building our spawns list at the same time. And then the else case is to just make the level, because I think if we reach that, then we've reached the end of the list. Width, height, tiles, which is the vector. List of vector spawns. All right. So that should be good enough. Let's try to compile it and see if it works. Let's see. Expecting pair and procedure cdr. Where is cdr being used? Nowhere here. Must be in match. So tile data. Tile data. Tile data. Make level. Tile data. Really? Do I have to be explicit about the false case? Or the empty list? Okay, fine. I don't know, dude. Let me double check the info on that. So the texie file, hoot match. Okay. Okay, so empty list. Looks good. I think that's right. All right. So instead of the else case, let's do this instead. Okay, I think that's right. Matches title rest. Okay, we need to finish off the... No matching parenthesis. What are you talking about? All right, that makes sense. Match tile data, let loop, fine. Okay. Oof. Target only primitive. What the hell? Is it a mistake using match here? Should I just be simple and basic and just use if null tile data? Let's just go simple, because right now I think I'm doing something real dumb. I don't know. I'm using match, and I think I did something wrong. I'm pulling the ripcord now. Let's not close off the if. Here I want to use a begin. No, I'm using it inside a function. In fact, inside of a loop. All right, so car tile data. There's a chance I did something wrong. Oh, you know, I forgot to do this too. I don't think this is the problem, but here's the top of the file. I'm actually pulling in hoot match. I've used match somewhere else and it worked fine. Yeah. All right, so if null tile data, and where am I passing tile data? There's 4 parameters to loop. So target on parameter ever happen when a procedure is called. Expansion time that isn't implemented for the Guile VM. Okay. Footer tile data. That should do it. That begin and the if be a let. I mean, it could be, but it doesn't need to be. Unbound top level 35, 31. Now, do I have a parenthesis matching issue here somewhere? Check parent. Check parents. Definitely not at the top level. It's in a procedure definition. All right. Unbound top level. Level SEM 3531. It could be. Yes, Dave, it is. That's right. It's here in level 1.SEM. Well, it's not actually, well, it's in a define at the top level, so I guess technically speaking it is top level. Make level. You defer that you can use match. How do I do that? Make it like a oh, okay. Unbound top level. It might need to be a thunk anyway, because I don't know if it's a good idea to be immediately constructing an object on import time. Cool, cool, good to know. Unbound top level. I did, oh, tile? What is that? Ah, okay, so this binding right here, it's given, so this doesn't exist, but it's giving me a very strange error. Is that saying that it's at line 30? Oh, okay. 3531. It's not exactly accurate, but it's close enough. Gotcha. Level.sem. Okay, cool. Now I understand what that error is telling me. Great. So it's not tile anymore. It's car tile data. Boom. Okay. Whoops. Wrong page to refresh. All right, we're rendering again, which means it works. Now, let's quickly get some entities on the screen. Cool. Okay. Add one. That makes sense. So, in game.sem, we need to start thinking about actual game state now. And the question becomes, who should be the one that manages the game state? To me, level is more like data. It's not the game state object. Sort of like the initial data for the level. So I think I'll have a game record type. Let's just take this one here. Game. Make game level. Level entities. Maybe that's fine. Let's just go with this for now. We have level and entities, and then when we initialize the game at some point, I guess we should just do this here. Where's level 1? Okay, we've got level 1 there. We can have a global current game, which feels a little bit dirty, but that's fine. Define current game, make game, and we'll have to create that game. So yeah, we got make game already privated, more or less. Let's make a define make game procedure. Might need to have a module for this as well. So level, and that's going to be the entry point. I don't know if we need tile sheet. We'll think about it. So what we need is some logic that will allow us to take the level data, which is the tile data, level width, level height, level tiles, level spawns. Let me think. We'll make a level spawn for type. Or, And the idea is that it would return a position based on the type. It will use these spawns of the given level. And we might add logic for, types later. But for now, we can at least spawn things or choose locations for spawning. So every time we refresh the game, we get different locations. We also need to know how many entities we want to have. So should that be, maybe that's just hard coded. All right, so define monster spawn limits. For now, let's just say, there's a minimum of 2, there's a maximum of 5. And I think there's a random procedure, isn't there? Guile random. I think that got added. In fact, if I go to the texie, I could probably find it. Random. Math. Did I see one in the libraries? Yeah, random. Export random. There's clamp also. Clamp min max. So if I choose a random number, okay, so JavaScript random. Is it random or rand? Was it game.js? Math.random. Random integers. Okay, math.random used with math.floor can be used to return random integers. Okay. That seems like it. So here, how about I do this? Min max. So then that's min plus random max minus min. We want to floor that. And then inexact to exact. I think that's right. Okay, so we have a certain number of monsters that we're going to spawn. We can loop over that too. Let's just think for a second. So for level, entities probably needs to be a list. Rosia says, could it be bound to difficulty of the game? It could be eventually. For now, we'll just leave it like this, and then we can tweak things later. Game map. Is game map being used? No. These aren't being used either. All right. So okay. I think that that'll be fine. So let's go back to game. So we're writing our make game function. What we need to have here is the list of monsters. And also we need the hero object, which will create 2. So the end of this could all just be make underscore make game. What was the signature for that? Level and entities, level, and then our entity list. So here's what we'll do. We'll make this a loop. And we also need to have the monsters list. And here, if monster, okay. If greater than 0, monster count, then we will loop, and we will minus monster count 1, and we will const a new monster of some sort onto the monsters list. And that will keep rolling through until monster count is 0. And then we will call make game level monsters. Here we could also do a const to create the hero, basically. So the symbols are just placeholders. I need to actually create constructors for these types. So make game level 1. To create a monster, we need to pick a location. So in level, we have level spawn for type. Let's just say we'll need that. We'll need this too. Okay. And then we're going to wrap that at some point with the actual constructor for the entity that we need. So assuming that the level spawn for type okay. Assuming that level spawn for type is returns a position, which we can pretty safely assume that, then we'll have a position for spawning the entity. So let's go ahead and write that code just to get that done, because we're going to run out of time soon enough. So here what we'll do is we're going to have a loop. This is going to be a slightly different loop. So we will need first the size of the spawn positions. See you, Dave. Thanks for the help. We have the spawn list. This is a list as far as I know. Or maybe I'm, okay, I turned it to a vector. That's better. Spawn for type, I think there's a vector length. Vector length. Level spawns, level. And we need to pick something. We need to know the max. I need to floor that also. Probably. Okay, so once we've done that, we can look up the position, vector ref, level spawns level. Probably I should hold on to that here, but let's do this. Okay, spawn count. Here we go. Let's go ahead and delete this one. That's spawns, and the index is index. I probably don't need that loop like that. Doesn't really help. So the reason why I have a loop is because I'm thinking I don't want to spawn multiple things in the same location. So to handle that, I need to clear out the position of the level. But I shouldn't edit the level data in place. So I might need to thunk that level creation. Okay. Let's just start by assuming that this is going to be a non-loop. Okay. We'll loop later if we decide we have to. We probably will, but whatever. For now, I want to just get this done. Delete that. Do that. Okay. So level spawn for type, that will give us a randomized location, a valid randomized location. Now, if we go back to entity.scm, we need to decide what entities to create. So we have a hero. I'm not sure how much we need to go into detail on this. Tile ID, I mean, that's kind of all we need right now. I think I also need to make the, where's the texty file? I need the constructor and the predicate. And the constructor is effectively the same as this. I don't know, maybe it's not that important right now. Maybe let's just go with entity for the moment. Yeah. Okay, so we can go back to game. And right here, we can say make entity. Let's just be simple for the moment. 123 for the tile. a little bit dirty. That's okay. XY position, health, and state. Maybe I do need a helper function just to simplify this. So, whoops. All right, let's just do that for now. Make entity tile ID. I can do this. It actually will save me from having to do the let binding. And then health is 100, and a state is idle. All right, so we got that. That should be enough right there. Oops, I need to get the level spawn. Ah. All right, that looks better. Here we go. Const monsters. If monster count is greater than 0, then we're going to loop. We're going to subtract 1 from monster count, and then we're going to const a new monster onto the monster list. And then for the very last step, we're going to say make entity. And the hero, the Doom guy, is 31. Okay. I guess monsters is not the proper terminology in this case. So let's just say entities. All right. So then make game level entities. There we go. That should do the job. Need to close out my parentheses here. Versio says, what if each level data has a number of spots where you could put an entity? That's what I'm doing right now. I was kind of mulling over different approaches for that before, but I decided to go with just a simple approach where any tile position that has tile number 0, which is basically the floor, is a valid spot where any entity can be spawned. I might need to end up having separate procedures for spawning items. We need monsters. We also need items to be spawned. So I might have to refactor this in just a second. But this should be enough to get it started. Currently, we're not drawing entities either. So in entity, we also need to have a define draw entity. We need the context entity. That's probably enough for now. So if I go back to level, steal the draw image code that's here. In fact, let's grab something a little bit higher than that. I need to have this tile chords code. Okay, so tile sheet. So I need the tile sheet. That's where all the entities are stored. Alejandro says we will be programming the monster's hive mind. So who will play the hero? The code that I write will be playing the hero. So you'll be playing against me. Not really, sort of. Okay. The hero will be dumb. The whole point is that the hero is dumb and the monsters, will have the upper hand. Yeah, I hesitate to say the term AI anymore because it's so conflated. So it's not really AI, it's just code, logic. All right, tile index chords, tile sheet. Confirmed AI. Yes, it is confirmed. You got me. Send the lynch mob. Okay. So we need to get the tile index coordinates. The tile is the entity tile ID. Okay, so we have the tile ID for the entity. We have the coordinates. Sheet X, sheet Y, draw image, context, sheet image. We need to have the sheet image. That's okay to index it here. So tile sheet image for the tile sheet. Sheet X, sheet Y, tile size, okay. Then we need to put this at the location of the entity X. And then, whoops. And entity Y. All right. This could work. So that's just for drawing one entity. I suppose if I wanted to be efficient, I would have one procedure for drawing all entities so that I can cache some of this stuff, but we'll just do this for now. So what we'll do is back in game.scm, draw a level. After we draw the level, we're gonna loop over all the entities. Draw entity, game entities, game, current game. And we need to change this to be game level current game. And draw entity also needs additional parameters, which are context, entity, tile sheet. Not so simple. Lambda. Entity, okay. Entity, context, entity, tile sheet. Let's close off the lambda here. We're just throwing away the result of map because we don't care too much. I mean, I guess, is there a for each? A fat hash table for each. Guile. No. Guild. No. Guile. Yes, I think Guile has one. Map C? Is that in Guile? Okay. Because we're not doing anything with the results. There's no reason to try to construct a result list, which, you know, is extra allocation. So let's just go with this. Let's see what happens. Ooh. Unbound top level, inexact to exact. This is in file level.scm, line 77. Inexact to exact. So why do you consider it to be top level? Maybe it's the, okay. I've used it somewhere else. Inexact to exact. Scheme inexact. All right, cool. That's fine. That's in level. Go back up here. Drop that right in here. Okay, that should do it. All right, let's see. Duplicate imports. Oh no. I knew that was going to be a problem at some point because log is now like, log is probably a logarithm procedure. Wait, what? I don't see where that would be. Math? No, it's not math. Scheme base, scheme inexact, scheme inexact. We got both of those in there. Should be fine. That's still level.sem line 77. 78, let's say. Should I just write that out? Let's do that. We'll put my log procedure back in. Let me go back to the hoot.txt. EK, did I see that? Okay, yeah, it's not in. All right, log. It needs to be exact. Let's get rid of the inexact to exact. I don't know if random is going to give me an integer, if it's always going to give me a float. All right, let's try this. Again. Random. I think it's math. Yeah. Okay, we need the math library as well. Come on, man. Where is that now? What the hell? This used to work. Unless I did that twice. Okay. This is part of scheme, isn't it? Okay. Oh, exact. Whatever. I did not expect that. Make entity. All right, cool. That is easier to solve. So that is going to be game entity. Okay. Source of expression failed to match any pattern. Define record type monster. Where is this? Did we have any record stuff in here? Oh, the... Let's take that out. Let's get rid of these. I think that these are not actually valid for now. The inherited record types. We may have to just do something a little bit different on those. Okay, that is where? Sheet X, sheet Y, it must be in drawing entities. Tile index chords. Oh, did I bring in match? No, I did not. Okay, so use module hoot match. Common issue with pulling in a bunch of new code is that you forget to import stuff. Tile index to chords. Okay, so I need to pull in use module game tile sheet. Draw image, fine. Use module DOM image. Okay, what? I think level uses it. Canvas. Hey, show. Just something different. Tile size. That must be. Tile size. I have to call that a bunch of times, so let's go ahead and cache that. Tile size is tile sheet, tile size, tile sheet. There we go. We'll go indent all these remaining lines appropriately, and then throw a little paren at the end. Yeah, again. Okay, so in game.scm, draw entity. I bet money I did not export it, and I did not. Okay, draw entity. It's done now. Wrong number of arguments to random. That is in level random spawn count. What? Let's check game.js. Oh. Right. Okay. So I need to get the random number, which I'm guessing is from 0 to 1. JavaScript, random. Between 0 to 1. Okay, fine. That works for me. So I'm calling random only there. I don't think it's only there. Okay. So random is just a procedure call. We're going to multiply that times max minus min. And then add it to min. Floor it, and then make it exact. That should give us random in range here. That's kind of a useful helper function. I'm going to have to do the exact same thing over in level 2, I think. Let's see what that does. I'm probably going to have to import exact again. So random times spawn count. Okay. There we go. Let's give it a shot. Shom says, are you using consult ripgrep to search through project code? Yeah, I am indeed. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. String to UTF-8, type check failed. Well, I don't know where I would be using string to UTF-8 because I didn't do it, but it must be in calling a function of some sort. This is kind of the problem with Hoot at the moment. Sometimes you get errors that are extremely difficult to debug because they don't really tell you where it happened. You get like a scheme error object printed out, and it tells you what function the error happened in and sort of what the circumstances are. But, you're right. Alejandro is keeping an eye. Alejandro is always here on the game jams, catching my problems. Thank you, Alejandro. Because log, I think, is wrong in this case. It's got to be that. Oh, it is that because I didn't do number to string on index. All right, so there's a little guy right there. Let's refresh. Okay, he always ends up in the same position, which is not right. So let's start logging some information and see what we find. So let's see. Spawn count times random. Floor it, make it exact. Number to string. I probably should make the log procedure a little bit more robust. Index is 0, index is 0. That doesn't make sense. But it might make sense. So first of all, let's go into level where we're creating this, we're already there. We're creating the list of spawns. So we're consing here. I'm trying to find the right place to inject this. Maybe in level. I can do a little debug here and just kind of get a sense for where all the spawns are. For each level tile, no, level spawns. Oh, I don't export that, do I? We'll do it temporarily. How about that? Just to get this done. Is a float getting floor to 0? It shouldn't be, but we need to double check things. Level spawns. So for each on level spawns of level, I want to just run through and try to print these things out. So lambda spawn, and then we're going to log spawn at number to string car spawn. Number to string footer spawn. Let's try that. Wrong number arguments to log. Oh, okay. Yeah. Should probably change the name of that procedure. Yep, I need to change the name of that procedure. Format does not seem to exist. I had not seen format work. Maybe I'm not pulling in the right module, but it's in the docs. In one example. When I tried to use it, it wasn't there. I think this could be Guile code also, and not Hoot code, because it says instantiate wasm. I think that's actually Guile code. So there's supposed to be some PK procedure somewhere. Oh, let me go into the Guile Hoot code base. Define PK. Lib Guile, define PK. When I tried to call PK before, it didn't work. PK is peak. Hoot read. No, that's not it. Ports, PQ8, PKR, wasm stack, peak. Guile.scm peak.stuff. Okay. Gotcha. Display, write stuff. So does display actually work? Because I didn't see it work. And PK is being added to the export list, maybe? These are all the default exports. Must be. I mean, that looks like a bunch of standard stuff. Let me try it again. Last time I tried this, PK did not work. Back in game, where I tried to use a log. Let's try this. That's not PL, it's PK. Takes a while. Oh, that's not the right page. Yeah, I don't see PK actually writing anything out unless being filtered somehow, but it doesn't look like it. Let's try something a little bit further up the chain so that maybe I can find out whether it's happening where I expect it to. PK test. I want to see some entities on the screen. Martin says, no source map? No, not at the moment. Okay, so that actually did show up. That's good. But we're just not hitting it at the right moment. Oops. There we go. All right, so more than likely, the error is coming from somewhere else. We have car somewhere, and it's not a pair. So where am I using car in the code? Could be here. Could be there. More than likely, it's in the make entity call. Unless these are not actually... here, let's do this. Takes a little while to compile, unfortunately. Okay, it never reaches that, so it must be somewhere else. So it's before make game. What do I call that? I call that here. So PK making game. Let me also put something another place so we don't waste a whole bunch of time on compiles. We said that the other place where car is being used is in either level or entity. We're loading a level first. The level loading was working before, but then the car pos is used in make entity, and we haven't gotten there yet, so it must be in here somewhere. So PK, just setting the... let's not do car tile data. Let's do tile data and see what it gives us. Unbound top level PK. All right, what am I pulling in game that gives me PK when the others don't? Hoot debug. That's what David told me. So instead of my own debug, we're gonna get rid of that and say use module hoot debug. You can also get rid of this scheme inexact, I think. Where is log being used? Index is, we'll say PK instead. Target only primitive. They've also told me that this is something about the top level. Who knows? Oh, I think it's because I put the PK in the top level. Let's try that. All right, now we're getting real messy. Did I just take out all the PKs that I put in? Try those two first. All of this stuff is very, very early and rough. Making game. That's before we called make game. Thanks, Alejandro. Target only primitive errors happen when a procedure is called at expansion time that isn't implemented for the Guile VM. So it must have been one of those that I just commented out. Clean up some of this a little bit. Set tile. It must have been that one. because make level is being called at the top level. I think maybe we need to do what Dave suggested and just stop being silly and do this slightly differently. So we have our level 1 file, and that is a direct call to make level, define level. So when I call make level, I can return a procedure instead, and then you have to call the procedure to get the current level. And then when you run make game, it will invoke that procedure to get the level instance. So level. Okay, so actually, let's do this because it will make it so I don't have to go back and change all those instance, or sorry, those variable references. All right. So technically, this is not a make procedure anymore. It's something else. Actually, we're going to do a lambda here. Okay. So, make level is kind of not the right name for this anymore, but we'll deal with that another time. So make level now, level 1. Great, and then current game will call that when it wants to instantiate the level, which feels a little bit weird. I mean, maybe we can move some of this logic around in that case, but I don't know. Let's just get it working first. So, let's try to run this now. Maybe this will make things a bit easier. See you, Shom. Okay, we got a lot more output that time. All right, so set tile. Cool. Set tile, I tile data. Okay, I actually don't want tile data. I want the car of tile data, but we can see it in the output. Yep, that was it. What is it? So set tile 7, blah, 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 blah. There's a bunch of those. We don't need that anymore because we did see it. We got that far. Set tile, set tile. Okay, we got to the end. It's possible if null tile data. Okay, so we should have gotten to that point. Okay, irritants. It's a vector. Okay, we're calling car on a vector. Cool, that helps. No. Levels. Level spawns. Yes, that is a vector. Okay. There's a vector for each. Should be at least. There it is. Okay. spawn at 1. I'm seeing different positions. Spawn at 10/10, which that's definitely this 10-10. Spawn at 7/10. Yeah, the randomization is definitely the culprit now because I'm seeing, well, why is there a 10/10 again? Oh, okay, I'm reading it wrong. Okay, randomization is the fault here. So this part can go away now. We know that we actually do have spawn data. That tells us what we need to know there. The level spawn for type is the culprit. Here we're going to say number to string index. So spawn index. Spawn, you know what? I wonder if it's multiplying an exact versus inexact integer or number. Yeah, it's always 0. So that explains why. And 0 is going to be this location here because it's the first spawnable position in the reverse ordering of all the tiles on the map. And that's because we've been consing all the spawn positions onto the front of a list, which creates a list in reverse order. So there's something about spawn count and random. Let's just take a look at this, what the result of this multiplication is. Because spawn count ought to be the actual length of the spawns vector. So multiplying that by random should give me an actual value. Okay, it seems the values are different. That looks like a small number though. I'm supposed to add this to spawn count. Is that right? So multiplying the total number times the random value, which is 0 to 1, should give me something in between. You need to multiply for a big number. And then use a modulo. Eesh. You could be right. But let me think. There's got to be a better way to do this. Because it's supposed to be 0 to 1. But I guess if it's so small, let's refresh that a couple times. Yeah, it's got different numbers. But is floor giving me the wrong thing, I wonder? Yeah, 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay. Feels like I should be able to do that. $77. I mean, yes, if it ends up being 0.001, which I suppose is a valid result. So if I say 77 times 1000 times math.random, I mean, that could be enough. The other way around? Which one? Modulo of the random? Oh, you mean this? Okay. Seems to work fine. I floor that. Whoa, what did I just do? All right. Thanks, Alejandro. I feel like I shouldn't have to do that, but maybe the way I've done this in the past is not what I thought. Which is like less expensive? I don't know. Oh, random modulo index. Let's see. Oh, is it the other way? Come on now, Matt. I can't type math.random. Yeah, so it has to be the other way, right? No. No, I think what you had told me before is probably the better thing. Okay. So floor of modulo of 1000 and multiply spawn count times random. So let me just copy this whole thing. I mean, we're not gonna get the same result anyway. Let me just use index then. Better. Is that it? Okay. Wrong argument position 1. Who knows? I and width. Is that right? Math times random. Sorry, 77 times random. 1000 modulo spawn count. Did I do something else wrong? Let me think. There's something inexplicably wrong in this case. Let's just try commenting this out and just say 0. Because it must be this expression for some reason. Okay. So that's where we were before. Modulo. Oh, okay. So we want to do modulo on random times 1000. Modulo spawn count. Same thing. Wrong type argument in position 1. So I think that modulo needs an exact number So should I use, well, I can't do that. I can do random times 1,000. Okay, how about that? Random times 1,000, exact. It's not really telling me what is happening, but I'm sort of figuring it out. All right, that should do it. I might need to floor that too, because otherwise it could give me a rational number. Unreachable executed. How? I see. Probably need to floor this. I think that's backwards too, isn't it? Yeah, spawn count. Yeah, let's do that. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Modulo wants... Alright, alright. Let's do this. We'll go back to where we were. Let's see what modulo does in this case. It's a mess. Modulo. Type check failed. Probably wants that, wants this. Is there an exact floor procedure? I feel like I saw one of those. No, you definitely gave me the right direction, Alejandro. Because as you can see now, we're actually getting correct spawns. Cool, look at that. Everything's the same color though. Can't really tell the difference between them. So HTML, canvas, draw, image, tinted. Can I do that? How do I tint an image with HTML5 canvas? Blah, 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 blah. There's not one simple value. Let's see. Sounds like this is not as easy as I thought it would be. Ugh. Source in, global alpha 1, fill style. Yeah, I don't really want to mess with that right now. We'll just leave it be untinted for the moment. Okay, so we've got some stuff happening here. We can get rid of this spawn index thing. Will what be available? Let's see. What was I doing? Guile exact floor. I feel like I saw something like that. No. There's one in this library. Exact floor. Yeah. So because Dave had to make his own, I think that means there's not one. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so we do have random things spawning. So what's the what's the next thing to do? We have, let's say, 20 minutes. And things took a bit longer than I expected them to. It's not perfect at the moment, but it's good enough for the moment. Let's see, monster spawn limits. So we are picking, so look at that. I'm doing this. random times max minus min. It seems to be working, but it's just because I'm adding min to it that it's just getting the baseline, and it seems to be choosing different numbers every time. It's 4, 2. Oh, where is the hero? All right, I need to make sure that they don't reuse the same position. Okay, because we are recreating the level every time, I can feel okay to do this now. So let loop position. I also need to pick a new index. Okay, so index is the thing to calculate every time. Let's... Ooh. Can I do a define inside here? The hero was eaten by an orc? Maybe. Oh, tinting the canvas? There seems to be a way people are suggesting you can do it, but I don't know if that actually works. But we'll find out whenever we get to that. I would like to tint things, because otherwise it's going to be a little bit boring. I may also just do it myself. I'll just go edit the original image and do it that way. All right. So I'll have a little helper function here. Define random int max range. Let's just say range. And we'll do this. Okay. Looks good. So we're going to do a loop. And actually, let's do this. Ah, damn, I need the index. Ay. Okay. We'll have to do a let inside. That's fine. Whatever. So index will be random int. So if position, oh, what is going on here? Playing some other song. Hopefully we haven't been playing copyrighted music for some amount of time here. That might be the first one that happened. Okay. So let's get back to this. If position. Position, that's the thing we're going to return. First, we need to vector set the spawns list index to false, and then return the position. Otherwise, we're going to loop. The idea here is that whenever we pick a valid position, we're going to clear it so that if anybody hits that again, then they're just going to ignore it. So index, random int, spawn count. I got to fix this. This needs to change to be calling random int again. Okay, so let loop. Let's get rid of that. And close off this. Make sure I got everything right here. Loop, index, random int, spawn count. We're going to check the position. If there is something there, we're going to clear that index. in the spawns list and then return position. Otherwise, we're going to loop. So let's try that now and see if the we get a consistent set of players that are... Whoa, what just happened? Spawn count. I must have closed something out early. The argument for random int is named range, but in definition it calls spawn count. What? Oh, thanks. That's exactly what just happened. That's exactly what just happened. You caught it before I compiled it. So Alejandro is faster than the compiler. Here we go. All right, so I see a hero. I see 3 entities. Oh, that's not a good situation. Looks pretty good. I'm never seeing... actually, we can check that, in fact. No. Just see if we run into it. It's going to be highly unlikely we'll run into that. Between 2 and 4 or 3 and 5? 3 and 5. I don't know if we'll even hit one of those. We did that one time for sure. Oh, I think it's 2 and 4. Let me... What did I put for game? Between 2 and 5. So either 2... Anywhere from 2 monsters to 5 monsters, let's say. Okay, so we got our little guys set up here. I'm only seeing 2, but never 5. You got a good point. Maybe it's just the range that I'm using. Yeah, you're right. I'm only seeing 2 to 4. Is that because do we need to do +1 just to offset for the floor? I guess the floor is what's causing it. I think you're right. Yeah, 0 based. I mean, there's a min too, but actually, yep. Wait, the modulo for which? It's gonna be this one here. Random times max min +1. Yeah, not in this one. Yeah, I think that does it. Okay, so there's 2. There's 5. 3. 5. 4. Okay, good. Dangerous. All right, so the whole making game, we're gonna get that out of here now. Cool. All right, so we've got randomized positions working well. They're not reusing the same positions. We just need some logic to move things around now and start to implement some game logic, I think. And then we'll have to do, you know, obviously, like, you know, not necessarily collision detection. Well, we need to set some properties on the wall tiles and write those out. How do I want to do that? Maybe I don't want to do that. Maybe I just want to keep a list of tile numbers, tile indices that I know are blocking. So if I were to go find that tile is number 637. So in... let's say tile sheet. This is a little bit hacky. Game logic, not AI at all. Yes, that's right. Let's see. Tile. What's the right predicate name for this? Is it passable? Solid. Actually, anything but 0 is technically something that is impassable, unless it's a door or something that can be opened. I mean, you could call it barrier, but that's kind of vague. What was that one we saw? It was 637. Actually, let's say 0 here. Maybe passable is good because we want to have a passable list, more or less, let's say. And then anything else would be false. So we would add things here. Plain floor tile is passable. So then what you would do is look at the tile ID of the tile in the direction that you want to go. Tile blocking. Yeah, something like blocking would work. So can I add something just basic where they just kind of wander around? Semi-passable. Permeable. Let's see. I got like 10 minutes. Walkable. Walkable. I think that's the right one. Because that could also help with pathfinding, etc. Doesn't need to be a case, but if we add more cases to this, then sure. This is fine for now, though. Okay, tile walkable in entity. Let's just do something real simple here. Need to put the parens around. We're gonna give the delta time in the last frame. Passage, it's a little bit not the best word, I think. So after some amount of time passes, they should just try to move in some random direction. But this may... Yeah, I don't know if we're going to be able to get this working right now, but let's try it, just for the sake of trying it. So I really need a rand int procedure. So let's move this to some kind of helper library. Okay, so we got that as a utility now. Let's go back into level, add that into the imports. All right, so we got that in the util now. We need this in entity as well, so we're gonna pull that in right here. So now, is there a list ref? Maybe there is. Yeah, there's a list ref. So I can say Let's do this. Let's star. List ref of ders, rand int 4. And then we will, we need to check the level. So level, what is it? I think it was level tile at or something like that. Level tile at, level tile at. Tile passable. And tile at what? Is that a level? No. Map X, map Y. That seems right. Panicked hero. Level tile at, and we're gonna say entity X, entity Y, entity, but we're gonna add the offset. So cardir. Okay, so we kind of need to have that new X. All right, let's do that because we need those directions. All right, so if the tile is passable, we're just gonna say when. So if it doesn't work at the tick, we'll just wait till the next tick to move again. That's just the basic logic for now. That will be for every entity. If we go back into game.scm, update, there's an update procedure here. And timeout, update callback DT. We are going to say, let's see, draw entity. We did a for each before. So update right here. Let's do this. Okay. Entity, update entity. We're not using the time right now, so we'll just do that. So we have entity and the level. Okay. Okay. Whoop. What just happened? Okay. So now it should have an update every frame. Okay, I missed an in paren right. That's not it. Entity at SCM. Okay, update entity. We probably didn't close out after the let. Unbound top level random. That's going to be in util, and we need to pull in math. Level tile at, that is in entity. I need to pull in game level. Tile passable, reference to expansion time value in generated code. Entity line 70. Tile tile passable, tile passable. I need tile sheets there. What about, oh, walkable. Passable is walkable now. Let's check tile sheet as well. Make sure this is tile walkable. Nope, it's not. Update entity, unbound top level and entity. We did not export update entity yet, so let's go do that. Wrong number of arguments to level tile at. Level map X, map Y. Cool, that makes sense. So tile at. Yep, never put that in. So level here. All right. Now we should be okay. Okay, well, it's working. It's just too fast. All right, let's just slow that down a little bit. We want this to be once a second, not so fast. Chill, guys, chill. I think it's because this is trying to do 60 frames per second and update is doing that. So what is my time? The hero was trapped in a room. So that's 60 hertz. I want it to be once per second, dude. Is that backwards though? It's gonna make it even worse. Yeah. It needs to be 1,000. Sorry. Yeah, 1 second is 1,000 milliseconds. Come on now, that's not right. 1 instead of 60. Update callback. DT. 1,000 milliseconds. Oh, is this seconds? Hey, Benoit. JavaScript timeout. This is set timeout, isn't it? Let's see. Game.js. Set timeout. Okay, set timeout. F delay. Set timeout delay. Seconds. Time in milliseconds. So the timer should wait before the specified function. Isn't 1,000 right? Because we're calling timeout here to refresh the loop. Oops. There it is. That's better. Okay. So that looks more like it. Not so insane. I don't see the... Okay, the hero guy is moving now. All right, so we got something basic going here. Obviously, these things are not being controlled by any kind of intelligent logic, and we aren't checking to see if two monsters are standing on the same tile either, so that's okay. You'll probably see them step on each other at some point. Hasn't happened yet. Probably won't now. But at least we do have... you know, something moving. We have objects on the screen. They're being randomly, the locations are randomly selected. The number of monsters is also randomly selected. We haven't got any pickup objects on the screen yet. That's okay. We don't really need that yet. But they're all moving, which is good. I do need to give a different color, but I don't have a way to do that just yet. Okay, I just saw the hero step on top of a monster. So that is happening at the moment. Yeah, it definitely happens. So if that happens, somebody needs to perish. Probably whoever has the least health of the two. I don't know. Maybe there's some way for them to fight at some point. But at least for now, this is good enough just to say that, you know, we made progress today on making a game. And tomorrow we will make even more progress. So tomorrow, probably it's time to start working on the hackable logic. turn base. What do you mean, Benoit? So it's every second right now. So I think making it so that you can edit the logic or start editing the logic, we'll basically have to create an editor control from scratch, which we're not going to go too super in depth with that, but we'll do something kind of interesting. And the hero will just be bumbling around. I mean, maybe the hero will have some basic logic too, like, you know, it's looking for treasure. Oh, is the plan to make it turn-based? I'm not 100% sure yet. My thinking is that either it could be turn-based. If it's turn-based, well, it doesn't need to be turn-based if everything's on the same screen. But if I make this map scrollable so that you can kind of be in different places, I think that you might need to make it turn-based so that you can keep track of the positions of everyone and be able to plan things. But if it's all on the same screen, then it could just be moving like this. But it might have to be at a slower tick. Like every second seems a little bit fast because it doesn't give you reaction time. It seems like it would be a little bit more exciting though if it was actively moving all the time. But I'm still not sure. It's kind of the thing we have to discover the value of the mechanics as we go. But at least for now, it seems to be working. So I'm happy with, you know, the progress over the last 2 days. We've got something that looks like it could be a game at some point. And tomorrow we'll continue working on this probably for another 3-hour stretch. I would imagine it will be in a similar time as it was today. So if you're around tomorrow around this time, you'll see where I get to next. All right, folks, thanks so much for being here today. I really appreciate your time and attention, and hope it was entertaining to some degree. And we'll see you back here tomorrow. So until then, happy hacking.